Good morning. Good morning. That music always gets me moving. And on a Saturday morning, even though it's not that early, certainly not that early for me, yeah, that music kind of helped out a little bit. It was a late night. It was definitely a late night, and the music kind of gets me going a little bit. So yeah, welcome. So welcome to Over 50 TV. Welcome to my Saturday morning broadcast, and welcome to a broadcast where I'm going to introduce you to the top 10 side hustles of 2024. And I'm really excited to be able to uh, tell you about these side hustles, if just for the fact that not only am I going to tell you about the side hustles, but I'm going to give you more information than I could usually possibly, I just say possibly give you in a regular YouTube video, where it's all about the algorithm and it's all about a lot of the data that kind of just drives viewership. And right now, I thought with this, I could tell you what I know, share with you some anecdotes, tell you what a lot of hundreds of other business people have told me about some of these side hustles. So what you're going to hear is stuff that you're not going to hear anywhere else, guaranteed. I, as you know, many of you know anyway, I ran a chain of business to business magazines. I ran a weekly newspaper, actually owned both. And I had the good fortune of talking to hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of business owners over the decade or so, more than a decade that I ran those two publications. So yeah, I can share with you a lot of information. So today, let's get into it. Let's just get into talking about the 10, what I'm just going to say for sure are the top 10 side hustles for 2024. And these are perennial side hustles, just to make myself real clear on this. And when I say perennial, what I mean is these are side hustles that are usually good all of the time. The problem is, what I find is not a lot of people understand or know how to really make money with side hustles. And that's why I started my other YouTube channel called Side Hustle Rules, because I want to tell people how you can make money with a side hustle. So if you haven't subscribed to that channel, after we get off here, go ahead and subscribe if you want to learn how to make money with side hustles. So here's some reasons why I picked these side hustles. Number one is they do offer a hell of a lot of flexibility. They can work, or you can work for the most part around your 9 to 5 job with these side hustles. So that's one of the reasons that I picked them. Another reason is it's low risk. These are low risk ventures. These are not higher risk ventures where the higher the risk, sometimes the more the reward. But then again, you're also getting in or incurring or worrying because you've got more risk. There's also minimal upfront investment. And some of these, there is no upfront investment. And I think that's really, for some folks out there, man, that extra money that you would have to spend to start a business. I mean, that's going to make a difference between paying a bill or having a meal on your table for somebody. And for some of you, it's just, hey, I don't want to spend the extra cash unless I know it's going to work. So there's minimal upfront investment. I really like that. Now, another thing, and this is the last reason that I picked these, although there may be more if I could think of them. But for right now, what I'll tell you is this. I like these side hustles because some of them have the potential to turn into a full-time business. Let's say you got a side hustle rolling along. You're starting to make some money with it, and you're thinking, man, if I could make this money, I could even only imagine what would happen if I went full-time with that gig. So yeah, so some of them have the potential to go full-time. So let's get into it before I get a message from somebody out there who's saying, Lou, get into it, because I get a lot of messages from people who say, get into it, Lou. So let's start with the number 10 side hustle. This is the 1 to 10. This is the 10th. And this one here, I'll explain to you. And this one is sell proprietary goods. And if you can see by my panel up here, I call these things panels. It's a physical product that you created yourself. And that's what I mean when I say proprietary good. Now, there are digital proprietary goods, which we're going to get into 2 of those later on here in this program. But right now, let's get back to we're going to talk about a physical product that you've created, a product that you could sell on eBay or Etsy or Shopify or one of those other platforms. Now, I like these kind of products because if you're somebody who's, you get home from work, you've got a hobby and you want to sell some of the products, why not sell those products on those platforms? Now, let me also say this, and this is something that I would encourage anybody to do out there who's got a little chutzpah and they really got some extra drive. is visit a local store. Here's an example. My daughter, she makes Christmas wreaths. She made them this year. I don't know if she actually made them last year, but she made them this year. And she's selling them to her friends on using Facebook and some other social media platforms. My thoughts are you got some beautiful wreaths. Start early in the year and go and visit brick and mortar stores and try to get them to sell your wreaths. Now, I've seen this more than I can tell you. People have done this exact kind of thing. And they're selling their products at stores, and they're sharing whether it's a percentage or a flat fee with that store. So going back to this panel, I say this at the end here, or towards the end, it says you can also sell these products at garage sales, flea markets. I don't know if you can see my arrow. And if you are ambitious, sell them on consignment through small retailers where they receive a flat fee or a commission. So to me, this is just a great way to make some cash. If you've got a hobby and you want to make some money, you know what, it takes a little bit of an effort. I've got a family. My aunt did stuff like this, and I was growing up. I watched her do it, and I watched her make some good cash, good money, and help to feed her family and pay the bills and pay the mortgage payment on her house. So yeah, you can do it. So that's number one. Now that's number 10, but that's number one right now. So let's get now to number 9. Number 9 is take online surveys. And I put this on this list, this perennial list, because after all, you know, there's some folks out there who want to make some quick cash. Now, you're not going to get rich. No doubt about it. You're not getting rich with an online survey or two. No, you're not going to. But if you need an extra $5 or $10, or maybe even more than that, you know, for a week, do a few every day. You might make yourself an extra $100 or more. It just really depends on the effort you want to put into it. But the one that I've used and the one that I investigated, and I'm going to say investigated, is Prime Opinion. Now, I'm going to put a link in the description box of this video. Once this video is done, I'll go back in and I'll put some links in here so you can check it out. But I investigated Prime Opinion because they contacted me and they said, hey, do you think your audience would want to make some extra cash? I said, yeah, but let me look into you guys first. I really looked at a bunch of them, watched a lot of videos, did some research on Google, and I found Prime Opinion. And you can go on their website and see they're highly rated. I think it's like 4.5-star rating overall. So that's pretty good. So check out Prime Opinion. But I put them on here because, again, it's low risk. You know, you can do it around your 9 to 5. There's no upfront money. You're just doing these surveys in your spare time and you're making some extra cash. You're not going to get rich on a survey, but I threw it on here. I didn't throw it on here. I put it on here because I thought it was important. And for those of you out there who look at it and think, hey, man, I can make some cash, you're going to get on there and you're going to hop on Prime Opinion. So let's get to the next one. Sell print-on-demand products. Let me say, print-on-demand products are items that are printed only when an order is placed. And that's why this is on here. This is on my list, my perennial list, my list of the top 10, because you don't have any inventory. You're not going to have to worry about spending all this extra money and having inventory on shelves. I told you, I ran a chain of business-to-business magazines, and I visited businesses almost every single day. Went out to a business, visited with them, talked to them about their company, offered advice. Over time, as you're working with hundreds of businesses and you're working year after year, yeah, you get to learn a hell of a lot about how a business operates and what they need to do. And I've walked into more than a few t-shirt stores where they have all this inventory there, and sometimes it's just not moving. And I got to really like this print on demand, because you could print on t-shirts or coffee mugs. I saw people printing on gym bags. You know, I'll put a link again. I'll put a link for print on demand so you can check it out. I know that you can make money with this. I wouldn't have put it on here if it wasn't the case. If you have any questions on this one or anything I talk about today, shoot me your question. It's not on here just because I threw it on here. It's on here because I know they work. So I just want to point that out. You're talking to somebody who's been doing it for a long, long, long time. Here's the next one: self-publishing ebooks. I really like this one. And I really like it because I've interviewed some people who have self-published ebooks. And I've got a couple of videos, and I'll also put those links in the description box. Give me a couple of days to do that, because I've got a lot of links I'm going to be putting on here. But I'll put the links on here for you, so check out the people that do it. But I've interviewed folks, 2 guys who actually have done this, and, one guy's done it more than once. And I thought it was really fascinating because he didn't have any experience at all with self-publishing, and he did some research, published a book about his family life, and he did quite well with it. He did pretty well, and he made money. And I could got to tell you something that really can help you out a lot right now. And I'm going to put it back up on the screen here. This is Chat GPT. Now I know there's folks out there, if you're a writer and you love your craft, and I want you to love your craft, but I'm going to tell you, ChatGPT can help you generate content. At the very least, what it can do is it can help you. It can help you to go through your content, maybe acting as an editor for you. And you can actually, with a prompt, and there's people out there who are now, the term I've heard recently was a prompt engineer. But if you learn the right prompts, what you can do is give your copy, put your copy into ChatGPT and say, hey, go through and edit this, and highlight what you edit, make it bold so I know what has been edited. ChatGPT, to me, it's just a fascinating tool that everybody out there is going to use, will use, or maybe you're already using it. But this is a great self-publishing ebooks is really just a great opportunity for you to make money. I told you I interviewed another gentleman, and he used Amazon Kindle Direct Publishing. And I bolded that here. I don't know if this arrow is showing up, but he used Amazon Kindle Direct Publishing. And actually, he was out of California. And I kind of looked at him as to me, he looked like a typical California guy. I don't mean to be, I'm not knocking a guy. He was a cool guy, but he had the look, and he was a gentleman about my age, and he just loved writing, and he's written, I think well over a dozen books, and he just found that it was better to self-publish, where he would make more money. And that was from a guy who had done it for decades, been writing. And I'm going to find that link and put it in this description box. If you're interested in this topic, I think in this side hustle, this could be a good one for you. Now let's get to the next one here. Let me make sure I got this. Now this one is to create online courses and coaching. This is something that I really, really like, and you can make money at it. You can make money either through online courses or through coaching. I have an online course through Teachable. It's how to, it's basically to take you from zero to launching your business. It tells you the steps that you got to take to build a business. And that course is on Teachable. I've got a link. I don't think there is a link. I'll put a link in the description box for that too. But you can create courses, and you can use AI or ChatGPT to help you in many, many ways. Use Udemy, Teachable, or Kajabi. And I said it with AI, it's relatively easy to create courses, but the main challenge is really always going to be promoting your courses. You can use Facebook. I recommend that. You can use any of the other social media platforms that you are familiar with, that you're comfortable with, that's your favorite. But also, I use Patreon. And I have a Patreon page. Side Hustle Rules, my other YouTube channel. We have a Patreon page on there where people can actually join and become members. And on that page, I can offer benefits. So those are benefits that can actually help entice people to go ahead and join and become a member of Side Hustle Rules Patreon page. And then what you can do is you can also offer your course there. And it's a nice way, because not only you're not just marketing it on a Facebook or social media platform. What you're doing, though, is you're giving them your course in additional carrots, additional reasons to buy to get that ebook. So to me, or get that course rather. So to me, it's just a great platform to use, and it's Side Hustle Rules Patreon page. I put a link. There is a link in the description box, so make sure I put that in there too. So let's get to the next one here. It is sell products using retail arbitrage. Good friend of mine, very good friend of mine. Her and her sister do this, and they actually just bought a pallet of product. So what you're doing is retail arbitrage is the practice of buying products on the cheap from retail stores and reselling them online for a profit. She went to Target and bought a pallet. And I don't know how she did it, because I didn't even ask her how she did it, but she bought a pallet of products and she resold them and made double or triple her money. I last year, I think it was, or maybe it was a year before, I went to Target at the end of the grilling season. And believe it or not, they had these little mini grills there for like 30 some dollars, normally marked down to under $9. And I think I picked them up for like around 8 something, almost $9 with tax. But I picked up about a half dozen of them, maybe more than that, because I gave a couple away. But you just pick them up and you can sell them. Now, there is a shipping you're going to have to be concerned about with that kind of stuff, of course, but you market, you make sure that person's paying for your shipping. There are lots of ways to make money this way. You can also go to, and this is something that she does do, she also sells her products at flea markets and at garage sales. So she's really building a business, and I'm just really admire this woman. I know her very well. She's a single mom raising 2 kids, and she's just hustling and making money. And this is such a good business for her to do. It's easy. It doesn't require a lot of skill, even though she does have a master's degree. She actually has a full-time job, has a master's. Very sharp woman, but you know what? She buys these products and sells them and makes the extra cash that she needs to help to pay her bills. It's a great investment. It's one of those ones, yeah, you're going to spend a little bit of money, but you could potentially make double, triple, or more, depending on how good of a deal you get when you buy that product. I love this one. Let's get to the next one here. Next one is virtual assistant. Now, this makes my list all the time. Virtual assistants provide administrative support to business and entrepreneurs from a remote location. It's on here for a few reasons. One, I do think it's a good business. Number two, it's on here because there are a lot of folks that on the over 50 TV audience. You've got skills, you've got talent, you've got knowledge. You know, you've worked in the office environment for a long time. You've worked directly with owners or maybe with managers, but you've got a lot of experience, or you're a manager, or we're a manager. Either way, virtual assistant is one of those gigs, one of those jobs you can work from your home. Now, this is not one, in my opinion anyway, that you can work while you're working a 9 to 5. This is one where you're gonna work when you're at home, and for whatever reason you're not out working, in an office. But yeah, you can do this one. To me, it's virtual assistant's really a nice gig. If I was building this business, what I would do, just to give you a little bit of tip here, I'd probably get myself 2 or 3 virtual assistants I'm working with, and I'd market for them, and I'd build up a business where I'm providing office support or bookkeeping support or specialty of some kinds of support. And I would have my crew, my team doing the work, and I'm the manager of it. That's what I would do with this. I would probably focus on maybe bookkeeping, accounting, because I know that virtual assistant is going to make more than somebody who's doing data entry. That virtual assistant with bookkeeping experience or accounting experience is going to make more. So that's what I would focus on. But I would build a team. Some of these, that's exactly what I would do, is I would build a team. So let me see where the next one is here. I believe I am on blogging. Yeah. Blogging is a great way to share your thoughts and ideas with the world in a conversational style. This would not have made my list this high in my list a year ago. It wouldn't have made it. It wouldn't have made my list that high because back then we didn't have ChatGPT, we didn't have AI, we didn't have Bing, we didn't have a way to help us with our blog. Because when you have a blog, here's the key, and maybe some folks out there understand or don't understand this. You've got to write every day. You got to post every day. I'm not going to listen to somebody telling me, well, Lou, you could post a couple times a week or 3 times a week. You got to post every day. Now, you don't always have to post an article. You can have a blog that's composed or comprised of just photos. A friend of mine has he retired early. I believe he retired early because I think he's in his 50s. But anyways, he just goes out every single morning and shoots pictures in nature. And I've encouraged him more than once, talked to him more than once and said, start your blog. It's not hard to do, and you can make money with it over time. But if you see here, I've got here in this paragraph, and again, I don't know if you can follow the arrow, but there's some platforms you can use. Medium is one you could start out with. It's a real simple platform. To me, it's really basic, but then you can graduate to Blogger. Blogger's owned by Google. Just want to point that out. And the reason I put Blogger on here because it's one of the most popular ones, but also because if you go on Blogger, you can make money through AdSense. My preference would be to go with WordPress.org, not to be confused with WordPress.com if I was going to do a blog. And essentially, really, I do have two blogs, right? Over 50 TV is kind of a blog. It's a YouTube channel, but it's a blog. I offer advice. I offer suggestions. I give my opinion on stuff. Side Hustle Rules is a blog. So I have a video blog. But you can have a written blog, and with the aid, if you decide you want to use ChatGPT to help you edit or whatever, or what you can do is put on photos. But a blogging is such a nice way to make money. If you're just somebody who wants to work out of your house and you don't want to have a team and you just want to build a business for yourself, and over time, man, give yourself 2 or 3 years, and you might look back and say, God, I am so happy I did this because I'm making money. So blogging, I wouldn't dismiss it. I know there's some folks out there think, well, it's going to take me too long to make money, Lou. I need money now. Well, you know what? Plant the seed and reap the harvest, my friend. And sometimes that harvest isn't going to come right away. So think about that. So let's get on to the next one here. Pet sitting and doggy daycare. And let me say, this would not have made my list 3 or 4 years ago. It wouldn't. But I had the great fortune to meet a guy who's probably in his 30s, I believe, and didn't really have like any education, but he just had a love of animals. And you know what? He was working at a store, at a retailer, big box store. And he started telling me one day, I was talking to him. I went in there and I was talking to him, and he's like, nice guy, talked to everybody, I believe. And he started telling me about his dog walking business and how he does pet sitting. And I'm like, really? You make any money with that? And he started telling me about the money he was making with it. And I don't think he was BSing me. I think he was telling me the truth. I mean, he didn't seem like a dishonest kind of a person, but he was just telling me how he's making this money on his doggy daycare business. And I was like, wow. And it was just amazing to me. But one thing somebody pointed out to me, one of the viewers, when I mentioned this pet sitting doggy daycare, look at the bottom here. It says, check out thimble.com. Well, one of the viewers brought up, Lou, you got to have insurance if you're going to make it a business. And I did research it. He was right. You need general liability insurance. And thimble.com is a company that you can contact. It's a platform. And I looked at it and they gave all the rates. And one was like they said, there's a hourly rate for insurance, I think a daily rate, a weekly rate, a monthly rate, however that works. But bottom line, you got to have insurance for this kind of a business. So this is not one of those ones where there's going to be no investment, but it could be minimal investment. And after talking to that person I mentioned to you, I started really looking at this as a business venture. And if you are somebody who enjoys pets, you could do this business. But if you could also, I'm going to say this, you could also do this and you could hire people to walk dogs for you. You could be the manager of a doggy daycare business. That's how I would do it if I was going to get into it. And that's just an option you have, whether you don't want the hassle of having employees and marketing and all that other stuff, which sometimes is a hassle, no question, or if you just want to do it on your own, I just say go ahead and do it. So let me see where I'm at now. That was it. That was the number 2 is pet sitting. So now we're going to come to number 1, my friend. Now we're going to come to number 1. And number 1 is something that I've done all of my life. And it's something I started out before I built my first business magazine. I did this business, and I built my business magazine from a single employee to one with over 100 employees, making multiple millions of dollars, grossing millions, and netting at a very healthy profit margin. And then I also launched a weekly newspaper, started a weekly, built that thing up, generating quite a bit of money too. Not bragging, just telling you, freelancing is number 1. Whoa, I didn't get that. Number 1, freelancing is a great way to earn extra money, and it deserves the top spot on any list of easy side hustle ideas. And what I really loved about freelancing, how I started out, was as a graphic designer. I taught myself graphic design, read a couple books, actually one main book, got the computer, got the software, bought the software, started learning how to do it. And I went out and cold called print shops in my area, businesses in my area, retailers in my area, any business that I thought could use some design work. And I built a really nice business doing freelance graphic design. And there's lots of ways you can do it. You can do freelancing. It doesn't have to be graphic design. I think on this panel here, let's get back to it. At the bottom, I say a skilled mechanic, a trained bookkeeper, video editors, an interior decorator are at the bottom. As you can see here, there's so many ways to make money through freelancing. And I've worked when I was generating revenue and will always probably work extra because need money and you want to make that extra money to start your business. When I started out, I did construction. I did security guard work. I did really work that was very demanding. That security guard work, I'm working all night long and then getting up in the morning or going home in the morning, getting a shower and running to my job and then working 9 to 5 and then, or something, I think it was like 8 to 5. And then I would get home and I'd take a quick 3-hour nap. I was nuts, crazy. I'd rather do the graphic design, which is what I did. I side hustled by just being a freelancer, and I made more money than I made at those other jobs, which were very demanding and were wearing on my body, and it was horrible. But I did what I needed to do until I was smart enough to get into freelancing. If you've got a skill, if you've got a talent, if you got something someone will pay you for, don't be shy. Don't just sit there on that couch or, walk in, drive into your car and think, well, how am I going to make money? Lose time me freelancing. Well, look and think of what you can do and offer that service, but charge a right price. I've got a guy that I know. Matter of fact, I'm going to be calling him in a little while. Jason, I'll throw out his name. I'll be emailing Jason. Jason was telling me how he has a full-time gig working lots of hours, but he also went out and bought a pressure washing machine. And he's doing houses on the side. I go, why are you doing this business, Jason? He said, because he wants to leave something for his family. He wants to build up a business, make some money, and leave it for his family. So that's number one, freelancing. There's lots of ways you can do it. But any one of these 10 that I've told you about today, this morning, offer potential, offer the opportunity for you to make some cash. Now, I've got a guy out here who just commented. I'm going to pull it up on here. It says, shocking you put blogging on there. It seems so antiquated. I sometimes forget people still like reading in this age of TikTok and IG. You know what, Adolfo? Yeah, you know what? You could say it's antiquated, but I've worked with websites that are blogging sites that make money. And I will put, just so you can check it out, I will put a link to a YouTube channel. The guy works with bloggers, and you'll please watch his videos. If you want to, you say it's antiquated, but watch his videos because he talks about how people are making money. And there's more than a few people who have blogging sites who make good money blogging. I mean, I'm talking thousands of dollars. So yeah, man, just check it out, explore, examine, research, and you'll determine that there's potential there for blogging. So yeah, I'm glad you wrote that in there. I'm glad you did, because it's helpful to the audience here. Anybody who decided they want to turn in, and there will certainly be people who will watch us after the broadcast. So thank you for that comment, Adolfo. So listen, let me get back to these panels here. So I will go through them really quickly for you. And just so you see, number 10, sell proprietary goods. Number 9, take online surveys. Number 8, sell print on demand. Number 7, self-publish a ebook. 6, create online courses and coaching. 5, sell products using retail arbitrage. By the way, I did not mention this, but one of the guys who really pushes eBay arbitrage is reselling is Gary Vaynerchuk. Gary, before he actually made it as big as he is now, the $300 million man. I say that because he's got a company that supposedly sells $300 million a year in sales, marketing business. But I met Gary, walked with Gary, spent about one day, actually over 2 days. I spent quite a bit of time with him. Actually, I ended up going down. He had a book signing, and I went with him to the Cleveland Browns Stadium where he shot some videos and did some live streams. But long story short, Gary's a big advocate of reselling. And check out Gary Vaynerchuk. Amazing guy, most intense person I've ever met in my life. And I spent, like I said, I was with him for 2 days, not the entire days, but with him over 2 days. Never met a more intense guy. And it's easy to see how he went from nothing to building a business that's valued at or that sells over $300 million a year in sales. He's probably even selling more than that right now. So that is that. Now, let me see. I went to well, I've got virtual assistant up there, so we'll check with that. I've got the next one is blogging, and then I got the next one is pet sitting and doggy daycare, and last but not least is freelancing. And again, any comments, any questions, let me know. I'm definitely, definitely want to hear what you guys got to say. But I can certainly offer some advice. If you send me an email, you want to set up a consultation, I can do a 30-minute free. Just send me an email. We'll schedule it, and I can go over any one of these for you. I'm a business consultant, so yeah, I'm not going to be able to spend a lot of time, but I definitely want to help you guys. So just check it out. Check out anything you got here. Yeah, let me. Going. All right. I got lost for a second there. Forgive me. I know you will. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. So listen, if you got any questions, like I said, let me know. And I look forward to talking with you. Glad to be able to spend some time with you. And I see that Adolfo did make another comment. You responded back. Gary V's garage sale arbitrage videos are YT are amazing. Yeah, they definitely are. You definitely are, man. I appreciate your comments, Adolfo. Hey, think about subscribing to Side Hustle Rules if you haven't already. I'd love to get your comments over there. And hey, anything that you can, anything anyone out there can give me in terms of advice. Got another one here. George has sent us. Thanks, George. I appreciate your watching this morning. All right, buddies. All right, my friends. Any questions? Send them to me. Other than that, I am going to figure out how to get out of this thing right now, and I think it won't be too hard to do. So let's see here. All right. Have a great day, everybody.